Hi, good morning, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. Thank you again for those that have been following along and messaging. It is appreciated. I do read and I try to respond to everything and everything that I do receive. So this morning, just having a little bit of a relaxing day. I had a bit of writing this morning and a bit of reading. Just gathering myself. Centering myself, grounding myself. I'm actually sitting on the floor, as you can see right now, as well. Um, but yeah, it's kind of a good start to the day when you can ground yourself um, through gratitude and just like go through your life and um, just focus on that what you have and what you've been through. Just to understand that everything obviously happened for a reason. So I'm sitting here this morning, and today is actually a very special day. In our family, it's my daughter's birthday, sweet 16. So I'm a very proud dad, as you can imagine. Dad of daughters, which is why the hair is gone, as you can see. But yeah, so I was just sitting here, and obviously I was reminiscing and thinking about the last 16 years, but also when it obviously pertains to today's video. I was thinking about the Monday the 27th. Monday the 27th of March, which is essentially, I think it's day 5 now. Day 5 of the walk, so I've actually gone halfway mark already. So at this point, I woke up around 5 o'clock in the morning. Well, actually before 5, so I could get done and get dressed. Out of Pearly Beach, the White House B&B, run by Sister Bertha Stein. I definitely would recommend you guys go and check it out. Um, I'll see if I can't put her details in the link in the description or in the notes at the bottom. But yeah, beautiful B&B, amazing home, lovely host. So I finished up at like past 5 in the morning. I had said goodbye to her the night before because I was not going to um, wake her up. She allowed me to just leave and lock up as I went. So as I left at 5:15 in the morning again, as you guys are aware, at this point my feet are already swollen. Um, yeah, there's a whole bunch of health things that's bugging me at this point. My back is sore and all sorts of nonsense. But I stand up at 5 and I walk out of the home. And Pearly Beach, for those that have ever been there, would know this place is unspoilt. It is a beautiful little town. From what I could see, I didn't unfortunately get to experience or explore. Again, there was a house with a pool, and I never got to even take a dip because I love pools. Ever I see a pool, I have to jump in. Um, but yeah, I never got to jump in the pool, never got to really explore the area, but the part that I did see. But what is so lovely about Pearly Beach as a community is that those that live there permanently, not just holidaying there, because lots of those homes are holiday homes, but those that live there, everybody knows each other, so it literally is one of those dorp vibes, right? And one of the things that Bertha told me about the area is that the community actually rallied the local council to not install streetlights, because that is the one thing that I was wondering. And when I came the night before, I was like, this is beautiful homes, like multi-millionaire homes kind of thing, beautiful holiday homes, but this place seems so undeveloped. I mean, yes, they have roads, but they don't have pavements, they don't have street lamps, stuff like that. Like, what odd. But nevertheless, um I only really understood it at night, because there is no real street lights, there's no light pollution. Now, anybody that has camped out in the middle of nowhere, in the bush or in the desert, y'all know that the night sky looks different when there is no light pollution. No street lights, no ambient lighting or whatever. The I can't explain it to you. I walked out there in the morning and I locked up the house, and as I walked away from the homes and the other relevant homes and the lights of the surrounding homes, I entered onto the main road exiting Pearly Beach, going back onto the R43 now. Not the R43, the main road. Forgive me, I'm just eating a little bit of a moment. But as I exited, as you're coming out of Pearly Beach, the whole area is surrounded by bush. It really is undeveloped. It's beautiful. But I'm walking on this road, and I've got my headlamp and I've got my hand torch and things. And I look up, and again, the stars, the Milky Way, it is something out of a magazine. You stand there in awe. You stand there feeling small, feeling insignificant. I can see this millions and billions of stars, which science tells me have long died, and I'm just seeing the remnants. But nevertheless, just this moment, everything, it doesn't seem important. You feel irrelevant in the grand scheme of things. You know that God is here at this point in time. And after 5 days of being alone with your thoughts, after 5 days, whatever fear I started with at the beginning of this walk, I no longer felt it. Um, I can't explain it to you. I switched off my headlamp. I switched off my torch, and I continued walking down the road. Now there's no cars coming. That time of the morning, nobody's awake. It is pitch black. I'm hearing all sorts of sounds from the bushes. Um, but I'm guided. I'm being pulled. I continue out of Pearly Beach, and there's two roads. You can either go right and continue on the paved road, or you can go shortcut. There's a gravel road that goes, it's a shortcut that goes through to, it connects with the R43, the road that I need to be on in order to get to Elam. But I gotta go through this area called Bredasdorp. I hope I'm saying it correct. But again, so I get onto this gravel road, and luckily I got on my hiking shoes. I had two pairs of shoes with me. So I got on my hiking shoes, I'm walking on this gravel road, and I'm walking in pitch black. This is 5:30, 5:45. It's still pitch black. And there's nothing but the sound of my feet crunching on the gravel. There's nothing but the sound of my bag shifting on my back. I can hear my breath, the labored breathing as I'm walking, because again, as I said, my feet are sore. The night before, I did not have a good night's rest, so I wasn't 100% rested. Because again, as I told you guys yesterday or last we spoke, I didn't make the full trip for Pearly Beach because of my feet. So when I continued walking through Bredasdorp, and this road is, as I said, deserted. There is a little farm, look like a little farmstead, and I can hear a dog barking. I'm thinking, oh God, I don't want to be chased by a dog so early morning. But again, no lights is on. Excuse me. I eventually walk for about 2 hours until the sun started. I lie, not 2 hours, but an hour until the sun started rising. Where I got to this intersection or T junction, whatever you want to call it, in the middle of nowhere, in the middle of this massive field, right? This grass field. After exiting out of the bush, and I'll post a video to show you guys, because some people were sending me messages saying they were not believing that I was walking alone, first and foremost. They were doubting that I was even walking, right? You know, you have those naysayers. So that morning I actually was a little bit irritated because I had read some messages the night before, questioning whether I was really there, whether I was really alone, whether I was really carrying my bags, you know, all sorts of things. So I actually posted a video, which again I'll upload later on. But I posted a video to show that how alone I really was. I walked in this bush, and this bush has all sorts of animals that was around me. It was in this bush that I saw what we call a rooi cat, which is in English a caracal. I hope I'm saying it correct. But this Roycat, this caracal, this baby tiger, descendant of a tiger, looked at me, and I looked at it, and there was almost like a sense of respect because it knew that I wasn't there to disturb it, and I didn't feel like I was going to disturb it either. Um, what 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 felt so good is that look, in nature we were never supposed to exhibit domain over the animals. We were all supposed to live in unison. So because this animal didn't feel threatened by me, because I didn't feel threatened, there was this genuine sense of respect and admiration. I mean, it's a beautiful animal. But it just let me go on my way. I think all the animals, because again, when I was walking from through Vogelschat Nature Reserve, when I left Hermanus, the monkeys also just looked at me. They didn't bother me. I never felt like I was in danger. There were snakes on the road. There was a whole bunch of creatures everywhere. Yes, there was dogs barking, but I never felt fear. So I walked through this bush alone, up this massive gravel road in the dark. And when the sun started rising, I stood at this T junction. And again, I'll post that video. I apologize if the sound quality is not so well. It was quite a windy morning. But again, as I said, I stood there and every morning I was greeted by the most amazing sunrises. And I mean, as you are cold, your body's cold, and you feel that first rays of sunshine, of a sunrise on your face, the warmth, right? It is a really cool feeling. Um, Nothing feels like holiday than seeing sunrise so early morning. So I stood there and I just had a little break. Had a little snack, water, an apple. I'm so sick of apples. I had so many apples this holiday. But I continued on. Took a little break, had some videos, took some photos. I really wish I could post all those pics, but I guess Instagram and Facebook has a limit. But yeah, Bredasdorp is a beautiful, unspoiled piece of land. I continued walking on for about another hour or so before I got to the main road. I passed this farm, this beautiful farm, which was for sale. I'm telling you, I stood there at the end before I got to the corner, um, onto the R43 there, and I actually had like this little. I thought about, um, look, I'm a city kid. I'm a city kid, born and raised, from Kraaifontein. I don't really know farm, but somehow something in me feels like this was familiar. I I I I can really see myself on a low F one day, living the calm, peaceful life. I don't know how my wife is gonna feel about that. Obviously, she loves the convenience of being, 5 minutes from the mall or from the shops. My daughter wanna see her friends, obviously, so I don't know how they're gonna feel about living on a farm with stinky animals. But I would love it one day as a retirement, perhaps. I'm just reminiscing, just thinking about it now, just brings like a smile. Beautiful homestead, beautiful farm, had two horses. I don't know. Who knows? Maybe I'll try it and then like after a year I'll be realizing, nah, it's not for me, but we definitely want to try it. But I got into the R43 and in the R43 it was nice to be back onto main road, onto solid paving. But this was 35. Wait, no, I lie. This was about 15 kilometers before I got to Elim. Elim was my midpoint, which would be my lunch point. Okay, So I continued walking on the R43, and again, beautiful property, beautiful farms. I saw every kind of animal that you can imagine that you'll find on a farm. I saw crazy machinery, farm machinery. These things that looks like tarantulas, this eight wheelers, this massive truck which was so high that cars could ride underneath this tractor. Um, I don't know. The life out that side is beautiful. There are many ponds that I've stopped along the way. There are many gardens that I've stopped along the way. The amount of cows that giving me weird looks. It was it is peaceful. Then coming over the hill and coming into Elam. Elam is a time capsule. Elam is famous for its main road, which has these voortrekker old settler type houses on the main road where they all really look similar. Beautiful, beautiful little area. I'm walking there, and I don't know. I took a video, and again, as I said, I'll post that. But I eventually found a shop there. This little huiswinkel. That's house shop in English, right? So I stop at this little house shop, and they have a little table outside. So I go in and I just give me the water or so. I had water, but I wanted a cold water. Got me water, and then I went outside and had a little snack. I had my sandwiches, had my apples again, and I had my water. I stopped there at this cafe, and there was a local bunch of children that was all just like staring at me. They just came and they came to sit there at the table next to me, and without even trying to hide the fact that they're staring at me, they just like looked at me straight. But yeah, I had a sandwich, and then I was bandaging my feet, just fixing the plasters and so forth, putting on cream on my feet. But I wish I could have seen more of Elim because the area still goes a little bit further in. After lunch, I continued down. There is one chapel, one church in this whole area. It's the Moravian Church. Elim Moravian Church is a white church. When I say white, I mean color of the building. Everything is white. The outside, the inside, the benches. It's beautiful. When I had gotten there, we were preparing for the confirmation services. But it wasn't just about a confirmation of a few confirmants. No, it was a whole um, a whole weekend celebration that they were doing. So when I came into and I asked them if I may pray, the local church committee was actually meeting there, and they were planning and preparing these things. So I was listening to them. So I actually got to speak to some of the people. They told me that the church is one of the oldest buildings in the area. It actually was the first building in that area. And they gave me a little bit of a tour and allowed me to take a few videos in the church. I had a few moments here, and as I said, I took a moment of reflection, a moment of prayer, because at this point, as I said, my body was weak. And for those that do endurance, the body's weak, the mind falters soon thereafter. So I needed a little bit of a push. So at this time, it was about 1 o'clock when I was leaving there. So from Elim or Raven Church to Bredasdorp, my end goal would be around 35 kilometers as well. Now that, according to Google, would bring me around 7 hours. 7 hours would bring me around 8 o'clock in the evening. Now I knew that I'd been communicating with priest Sean Andrews from the Bredasdorp congregation. They were expecting me, and I knew that they had planned something, a little bit of a get together. So I didn't want to disappoint. Didn't want to obviously come too late. So I continued, got my bag and things, and I continued walking down on my way from Elim. Left Elim, said goodbye. From there onwards, wasn't really much to see. It was boring landscape, but long roads, hot sun, heavy bag, hot road, sore feet. I had changed shoes. I had put on my running shoes, which is a little bit more comfortable. It's a softer compound sole. But I continued on. And I'm telling you guys at this point, it was difficult. It was difficult. Um, I say it was difficult because my steps, my my footsteps, my pace had slowed down tremendously. Uh, the sun was getting to me, the heat, just everything. It was getting difficult. I continued on as best as I can till around about 3 o'clock. Took another break just outside the wetlands. There's a wetlands area in Bredasdorp. Oh, actually not Bredasdorp, just about 2 hours out of Elim. And I just sat there alongside the road. And I was sitting for about 10 to 15 minutes, and I swear to you, not a single car, not a single person. I literally could have had a nap in the middle of the road if I wanted to. But I pushed myself because, according to Google, I was going to get later and later. And this time I was already around 8:30. It's estimating me to get there around 8:30. So I continued pushing on as best as I can, but as my best, unfortunately, still wasn't enough. I was walking at a snail's pace. I literally was crawling because my feet was swollen. It was that sore. After about an hour or so, I got a phone call again from Sean Andrews asking me where I am, and I explained to him, said where I am, and explained the situation. And he said, you know, would it be okay if he comes to meet me along the way? So I'm like, yeah, sure, sure, sure. So he pops up there along the way with one of the other brothers, other priests in the car. And the energy immediately re-energized me. But we were still around 15 to 17 kilometers outside of Bredasdorp. So he suggested he's going to take my bag. Maybe just make it a bit light for me. Now, remember what I told you guys in day one. For me, what does love look like to you? Is when somebody literally says, let me take that weight off your shoulder. I don't know these brothers. I call them my brothers, but they're brothers in faith. I don't know them, but I love them immediately. They took my bag and we continued on. And I immediately, without that weight, at 30 plus kilograms on my back, I was able to increase my pace. I was able to start walking a bit faster. I was able to continue to, and I was in such a good spirits because Sean was literally driving next to me, and they were playing music as loud as they can, but like this uplifting beat music. And this is two priests in the car, and they're playing this music for me, and we're running, and and we're driving, and through this, um, through this good moment, I actually start running. My feet an hour ago was swollen. I was crawling. I was walking at a snail's pace. Yeah, I was uplifted. I was strengthened by my brothers. I started running. I'll post some videos for you. It was crazy. I was running. The last 15 kilometers, I ended up running towards Bredasdorp because he told me that there was brothers waiting for me and I didn't want to disappoint or come too late. So I was running. And then while I was running, they were recording this, but they were also sharing this with the local in well on Facebook. That they're also sharing it with their WhatsApp groups with the brothers that was waiting for me. And this is where it touched me the most. Soon after, another three cars arrived and all joined me and had a whole bunch of the local priests and brothers that came to join me along the way. one of the priests had a shorts, not a shorts. He had flip flops and a tracksuit. This Radley, forgive me, I hope I said that name right. Radley, he actually came with, and he was walking and running alongside me for the last couple of kilometers. Eventually, all of them jumped out. There was Francois, there was Elton, um, there was such a lot of the brothers that they jumped out. And there were one brother was in his church clothes still because he had done a family visit earlier on. The other one, Francois was smoking. He was, he was running with a cigarette next to me. Bradley, he was, as I said, in flip flops. He was accompanying me, and he was keeping my pace. He was motivating me to keep running. I was motivating him to keep running. And all the while, they in the car, they are recording this and uploading this. I didn't even know. I only got told later on in the evening when I phoned my wife, and she was upset. She's like, "Baby, were you running?" Because I saw something on Facebook, and I was like, "No, no, no, this can't be Lucian." She said she had seen me tagged in the video, showing that I was running, and she actually got upset because she knew that my feet were sore, so she couldn't understand it. But nevertheless, those brothers accompanied me for the last 15 kilometers all the way into Bredasdorp. No matter the pace, I continued running, and I did walk a little bit, and as soon as I got the energy again, I continued. But they, through their assistance, through their support, through their presence, for their love, I was able to finish in a decent time. I say decent. Still got around 7:30 in the evening. Got into Bredasdorp, and I didn't get to see the area. Again, I'm disappointed I got here so late. But we went straight to the B&B, which was the Bastion guest houses. Um, they had arranged a beautiful accommodation for me at the Bastion guest houses. I would strongly recommend anybody in that side of the world go stay there. It's beautiful. I got there, and they had set up a little bit of a fellowship, a bit of a dinner and snacks and things. But I first told them, no, I need to go wash. I went inside into my room. I immediately phoned my wife, and I fell down and I burst out crying. I had had just enough energy to can do the race, to can finish up, to can get to my destination. Through their support, through their assistance, through their presence, I was able to can do it. I got there, I phoned Oshila. I was crying on the phone. And I'm not a very emotional person, unfortunately. But I was crying. I was crying. I was in pain. I was crying out of joy. I was crying because I was missing her. It was just heavy. Heavy. I was in the company of family, but I wasn't with my family. She asked me, do I want to come home again? And I was like, no, I'm still not going to come home. So I went to go wash. Um, a beautiful, beautiful flat once again. But the funny thing is, the ensuite from the bedroom to the shower or bathroom, the roof, the door height is about half height, so you have to duck down to get in. So I almost knocked my head twice. But I had this amazing shower, and then after showering, I went and I met the brothers, and we had in Bastion Guest House there is a conference center in the middle, and we all sit together on the table and we're sharing stories and just like introducing each other and telling ourselves our stories, man. And again, um, every every interaction, every story, every experience that is relayed tells me there was a reason that I had to be there. Every person that was there, every young priest, everyone that was part of it, um, made me realize why I had to be there. Everybody had a connection to somebody in Cape Town. Everybody had some connection, or told me some experience. I'll never forget you, brothers. I'll never forget you guys. I pray that one day I can get a vehicle and I can go down through to you, come visit you guys out there, and we can do this trip again. Not by foot, not by foot, but yeah, I pray that everything works out again. Um, we ended up the night again with prayer, and I bid them well because again I had a early morning the next day. I went back to my bedroom and I just thought back about this day. You know, um, the day would only have been around 60 odd kilometers, plus minus 60, 61, 62. Forgive me, I'll say on correction. Um, so it would have been a lighter one the day before, but because I was still recovering from the day before, I wasn't able to do it. But at the point where I thought that I was going to give up, at the point where I thought I couldn't do it, God sent me these brothers to come and support, to come and motivate, to push me that last bit. I am grateful to you guys taking the bag, grateful for your presence, for your support, for your encouragement, for your motivation. I'm grateful for everybody that watched, that was part of it. I was grateful, but I was tired. So again, after they left, I was in bed around 9 o'clock. Had an amazing cup of coffee, lovely Jacobs, but then I was dead. But yeah, so that basically concludes day 5. I will post some videos of the whole trip. Sorry, this one went a little bit long again. I'm trying to keep the video shorter, but I guess there's just such a lot of things that I want to tell you guys. But yeah, please continue following on, liking, subscribing, commenting. Let me know. Um, Maybe I should do shorter form. But yeah, let me know. Do appreciate you guys. Thank you. Till we speak again. Bye.